So we're going to do Gringo style enchiladas that are Mexican approved. And you're probably thinking, what the heck? I have a sister-in-law that was born and raised in Mexico, and I was really nervous about making the enchiladas for her the first time. And she said they're some of the best enchiladas she's ever had. And I get inquiries all the time about how to make them.
Hello, I'm Karalee.
And I'm Charles.
We're an old married couple who enjoys traveling, cooking, and having adventures.
Together we enjoy all the wonderful things the world has to offer.
Join us as we discover the wonder about us. Chin chin.
So the most important thing is your prep, because the assembly time is going to take some time. So sometimes you can find sliced olives and sometimes you can't. And sometimes you have extra ones because you bought too many. I don't know, everybody buys extras at Thanksgiving and such. So so go ahead and you can use the ones that aren't sliced, and you'll just want to get a strainer out. My finger's stuck, and pour them in the strainer so you get all the juice out. And remember the tip about putting your lid inside your can and then squeezing your can so that lid doesn't come out and cut somebody or yourself later. The new cans aren't near as sharp as the way we used to cut them off. Okay, so now I need one more bowl here. So now you want to put a bowl underneath here because remember, these are finger puppets. I don't think they'll fit my finger anymore. And so they're going to drain a little bit. So the easiest way to prepare these is just take your egg slicer. And about 3 olives will fit in here at a time. And you don't really care which way they cut. And you just want to put 3 in here at a time. 3 or 4 depending on your size. And if you turn them upside down like that, they're going to pop right out. Sometimes they stick like those. It's like no big deal. They'll come out on the next one. And remember, they don't have to be perfectly sliced because they're going to be inside the enchilada. So they're not going to really be for aesthetics. They're going to be for flavor. The whole olives are usually less expensive than the sliced ones. But so you want to kind of look at the weight, because the smaller cans of sliced are about the equivalent of a big can of not sliced. So you won't need such a large can for your enchiladas. Okay, so now we have our olives done. So we can go ahead and rinse this off and put it in the dishwasher. If you clean as you go, it won't seem quite as much work. When you put it in the dishwasher, you want to make sure that you're going to put it so your wires are protected. So I usually set it like that. And now we're going to do our green onions. I usually buy these that are in a bag. Okay. Just cut off the one end. And I usually just go ahead and put them out on the counter because I'm going to clean them as I go anyway. And I'm going to be doing a large batch of enchiladas today, so I'm going to go ahead and do 2 bags of onions. And you do want to kind of have them all face the same way. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to kind of cut all the roots off. And you just want to cut as close as you can. You don't want to get too close because you want to see the onion there. You don't want to see the root. See if I can get it not. You don't want to get it like, let me see. You don't want to get it like that where you can still see roughage. You want to actually see onion there. So we're going to cut all these tips off. Okay. And we're going to take these, and anything that's broken, you just want to go ahead and throw that apart away. And then you're going to clean these off and then break the tip off and throw the green tip, not the white tip. And so this one's a little shorter. So we're just going to go ahead and clean through these. So we're going to go ahead and let our onions dry a little bit. So we'll leave them in that same bowl. And we can just set them up here on the counter. So if someone comes in and washes their hands or something in the sink, they're not going to get them dirty. So we're going to let those go ahead and set. So while we're waiting for those, we're going to go ahead and get some of our other things prepped. So in this jar is leftovers, recycled oil, whatever you want to call it. And I'll show you at the end what we do with that. But so we want to use this first. The lid gets stuck, just set it flat on the flat, and it'll usually come off. Okay, so we want to use this first, and then what we're going to use is we're going to use. Remember, I'm not supposed to be eating like vegetable oil and lard and such like that. So I use coconut oil, but you can use Crisco. And you want to use a lard and an oil to make the oil that we're going to fry the tortillas up in. So I use coconut oil, and so this is, like I said, this is some leftover from last time, and so it's you can see it's part liquid, part solid. Okay, and then we're going to save this jar because we're going to put our leftover in there again. Okay. But then we're going to need some new, and you can see that this has some spots in it. It's not completely clean. Okay. And then we're going to use some new. So for the oil, the liquid part of my oil, I use avocado oil. And you want to do about 50-50. It doesn't matter exactly, but about 50-50. And I'm going to do about 3 dozen enchiladas today. So because I'm doing about 3 dozen enchiladas, I know from past experience that I need to have this about half, 3/4 of the way up, 3/4 of an inch, not up the pan, up half to 3/4 of an inch. So and so I don't want to use that same spoon in this oil because this is brand new and I don't want to contaminate it. If you get it contaminated, it may grow something in there and get bacteria in there. Okay, Charles, you may have to get this one for me. Can you get that one? So he used the gripper. There we go.
Dynamite and iron.
And again, if we do need to put more in, we want to use something new so we don't contaminate ours. Make sure and wipe the side of your jar off even if you don't think you got something on there, you probably did. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and start this, and you want to have your temperature pretty low. So we're going to go ahead and start that heating. While that's heating, we're going to get out a cookie sheet or something flat that we're going to put the tortillas on. You're going to need a roll of paper towels. We're going to put, it depends on how your paper towels are cut. I think they're almost all cut like this day. But what's more important is that it fits on your tray and your sheet that you're using. Make sure that if you have any overage, it's on the side away from the flame because you don't want any kitchen fires. So while that's heating up, I'm still prepare the rest of my prep area here. So I'm going to put a couple of towels. Oh, you know what? I can't heat this up yet. I don't have all my prep done. So I'm going to turn my oil off, but I can still go ahead and finish getting this ready. So we've got the tortillas, we've got to get our cheese ready, and we've got to slice our onions. So we're going to go ahead and come back over here to our onions. And these that are a little long, you just put back over here. And then you can just put the last little tips in there. So I'm going to use, I've got some cheddar cheese, and I also have this quesadilla cheese, which is, it's just a white cheese, but it has nice flavor. And I'm going to mix them. So I'm going to pour a little of and I'm going to leave these out on the counter in case I need more. They're readily available. And then I'm going to pour some yellow cheese in here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and mix this up a little bit. It doesn't have to be very mixed up because I'm going to mix it as I'm doing it. Okay, and I'm going to set these here as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and save this bread clip. If you haven't seen the YouTube video on that, watch that. You'll need it. But we might also not use all the enchiladas, so we want to make sure that we have it available. Or the tortillas, I should say. So we're going to go ahead and take a stack of these out and put them on here. And again, we're going to leave the rest out. Okay. We're going to start our oil heating up. So at a fast food restaurant, such as McDonald's or I guess I'm not McDonald's because they don't have onion rings, but like at Jack in the Box, they have, and at A&W, we had this rule. It was pies and fries. So apple pies and fries go on one deep fryer, and rings and things. So like your burritos, your chimichangas, your rolled tacos, that kind of thing. Onion rings went in a different fryer. And so when we changed our oil, we put the new oil in the fries and pies, and then that oil went over to the second fryer that had the rings and things. And so they use their oil quite good, but always the pies and the fries get the freshest oil. So you want to use it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Pyrex. It can be metal. It can be, but I like to have a pan that has a lid. Okay, because otherwise you can certainly cover it with aluminum foil. For some reason, I don't ever seem to have the aluminum foil in my house. So I like these particular Pyrex ones because they come with these resealable lids, and these all run through the dishwasher. They go in the freezer. Where if you're going to use aluminum foil, I don't think that's going to freeze it. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to keep it safe in the freezer. If you're just making it, that's something that you're going to eat within the week and you're keeping in the refrigerator, the aluminum foil is fine. But I usually, when I make enchiladas, my brother wants some, my mother wants some, Charles and I love them, and Charles is like, wow, you gave them all away. So I usually make 3 dozen at a time, so we have enough for everybody. And so I like containers that can go in the freezer because I make small batches for Mom, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So now you can see that the shortening's kind of gone away. Okay, you don't see the veins so much. You see a little bit of the veins, but not too much. So now I'm going to put this heat, and I can just barely feel heat on here. So this is probably just about right. But what we're going to do to check it, because the first one's always the test, right, is you're just going to put the tortilla in a little bit. And it's not quite warm enough yet. You don't see any action. So we're going to wait just a little bit longer. For what I do for Mom is you can buy these. These are just little, individual containers that can go in the microwave and in the freezer or the refrigerator. I usually save them from leftovers from restaurants and such. Most of them that nowadays are really nice. And then I'll put 2 or 3 enchiladas in here, so it's just 1 serving for her, and give those to her. And sometimes I'll keep them in my freezer because she doesn't have as much room in her freezer. And then she's like, oh, I wish I had some of your enchiladas. Then I can just take them out and give them to her. She thinks I made them special for her. Okay, so I can feel the heat coming off of here now. And now you can see how there's a sizzle on the tortilla. So you want to go ahead and put the tortilla in there. I used to do multiple tortillas at a time, and I just don't do that anymore. You just want to put it in there while you still have layers, while it's still thick. That's not the word I'm trying to use. While it's still deep enough, you don't have to turn it over. So we're just going to put them in here, and you're just putting them in here really enough to make them soft. Okay, you don't really want to fry them too much. And if you stack them right on your plate, we're going to get about a half dozen on there. So then I just lay down another layer of paper towel. So when your oil starts to get low, you can kind of hold your tortilla down and swirl it around a little bit. Okay, it's easier to do that than turning it, because if you have to flip it, then you have the potential of tearing it. So if you just swirl it around, you can get oil above it on top, because you want to have oils on both sides of that tortilla when you're heating it up. Okay, so you guys are probably wondering, well, you haven't made any sauce. So the secret to the sauce is, there's not really a secret. Get any kind of enchilada sauce that's on sale. It doesn't matter, they're all good. This happens to be La Victoria red sauce. You want to shake it up really good because it does tend to settle, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and put these in, and then we're gonna season it a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and put these in. Okay. And then notice I'm saving the cans because the cans still have some stuff in them, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and get some water in these cans. And you just wanna kind of rinse down the can on the side. So you're not gonna have that much water. But now we're gonna kind of swirl this around. And we're gonna see how much is still in that one. We're gonna swirl this around and see now there's nothing left in this one. So we're gonna do the same thing with this one. We're gonna kind of swirl it around. And if it gets too thick, we may have to add some more water. And now we're going to season it. And you can use different types of seasoning. There's Lowry's enchilada sauce seasoning. I usually tend to pick something that's a little spicy. I just was noticing that all of these are mild. I usually do half mild, half hot. I didn't have the right ones in the pantry this time. So I'm gonna use some Fiesta Party Dip. This is a travel size container. And this small one, a lid full, is a tablespoon, where the big ones are 2 tablespoons. But I'm actually going to put all of this in here because I had just about a half a jar left. I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm also going to put in spicy 4-pepper dip mix. This is no longer available. So you just season it with what you like. I just remembered I'm making this for Mom too. I might have got it too spicy. Actually, I might have got it too spicy. So we're going to set that on low. So now the key to this is your hands are going to get gooey. So you want to make sure that you have everything you need. So I'm going to have the fan here. I'm not going to turn it on. I may get it gicky turning it on. Okay. And I want the small one of these. Why do I have the big one? And so what we're going to do is we've got our ingredients laid out. So you're just going to start off, you're just going to put your tortillas down here. And to start with, you can put 2 here at a time. And then start with your cheese, okay? Notice I didn't get any yellow cheese, that's all right. And put some onions in here. And some olives in here. Okay, then all you do is you kind of push this towards yourself and tuck it, okay? And you're gonna roll it, okay? And then you leave the rolled side down. Okay, notice I put those both on the same side, and I'm gonna show you why here in just a minute. If you spill anything, you can just put that in the next one, or you can leave it. I usually put it in the next one because we don't want to have too much extra stuff all out in there. Okay, and then we're gonna roll it. Okay, so now we've locked our space, so now we're gonna make it on top of here. So that way you don't have any extra dishes to clean up or any mess going. Anything you spill, 90% of it's gonna be in the pan that you're gonna cook it in. I spill sometime a little bit on the way to it, but most of the time it's just in the pan. And we're gonna go ahead and roll this one on top here. This one I'm gonna end up kind of folding it because I don't wanna roll it because I'm gonna smash those guys. I find that most of my pans, most of my pans you can put in a dozen on. So we've got a half dozen here. Okay. Now with these oily paper towels, you don't want to throw them straight in the trash can because this has a lot of oil and this is flammable. So just kind of throw them in your sink and we're just going to saturate them with water. Just like that, we have a dozen enchiladas. Now we're gonna wait. The sauce is still gonna go on, and then there's gonna get an extra topping of whatever toppings we have, but definitely some more cheese on top. So I'm gonna set these aside, and I'm gonna grab another pan, and then our sauce has finished warming up, and then I have these fantastic ladles from Weight Watchers. I don't even know if they still make them, but just a regular soup ladle. I like these because they're a little elongated. Clean up my cheese here so I don't get this on the bottom of my pan. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that that you get the edges. So you're going to put the sauce on all kind of the edges first, because that's the side that gets crispiest when you cook it. In enchiladas, you don't want crispy. Okay, then you can add more down the middle. Okay, and you can make your enchiladas as saucy or as dry as you like. Sometimes I put just down the middle. And then take any of your leftovers, you want to have some cheese, and so you want to take some cheese and put it down the middle. Just makes it look pretty. And then we've got some leftover green onions, so we're going to go ahead and put those down the middle. And now they're ready to either go in the oven, put the lid on and put it in the freezer, share with your friends, or save them and keep them for all the family. So those are Gringo Enchiladas, Mexican approved.